Paymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Paymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes in 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello to my freedom and truth-seeking friends of Freedom Law School. This is Paymon Motahede, the president of Freedom Law School, and I got a Thanksgiving message for all of you. You know, to me, America is very special. So I have a special thanks to say about America I'd like to share with all of you and to show you how you can be free because of Americans' founding fathers. We really owe these men a great deal. They paid a heck of a price. These great men and the regular, ordinary men who served in the militia, advisors, assistants, and financiers and supporters of this revolution of these men against the tyrannical king of England. That generation of Americas, the founding fathers of America, we really need to be thankful for them and to them for the heritage of freedom that they left behind for us that we still get to enjoy. If you've not been to our website, freedomlawschool.org, do that now to be free of income taxation, slavery forever, safely, and with 100% guarantee if you choose. So what I'm going to do right now for you guys is show you, okay, to understand you got to learn the truth about America's heritage of freedom and our God-given rights. That's something key you need to understand that is really a key part of fabric of America. That's what I'm thankful for as an immigrant from Iran, a third world country where we had no right to jury trial, no right to due process of law, no right to bear arms, no right to be secure in our homes, no right to not to speak against yourself, anything that may be used against you, no right to free speech. I mean, so much we have in America. Now, we take for granted, and at the same time, we don't exercise them because we don't understand them. We need to understand these rights, so we exercise them and keep that muscle strong and retain and even restore our lost freedom. So, let me give you guys an overview of all this. This is the Declaration of Independence of 1776. One thing you should know about this was written actually 7 years before Treaty of Paris of 1783, which England wrote with the colonies, the new states, that officially recognized the 13 new states of America as 13 independent countries. The founding fathers committed to this document, the wars in it 7 years before they actually won the revolution. So let's read from this founding document of America, okay? And it says that, let's get to the relevant part of it, okay? But before we get to look at this, it talks about what? It takes about laws of nature, of nature's God. They're recognized that our rights and laws come from God. He is the original source of all laws and all of our rights. Okay? Here's the more relevant part, which is everybody's favorite. You've not heard it before, or it's been a while. Here it is. We hold these truths to be self-evident, obvious, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That means rights that cannot be taken from you, cannot be made alien to you, or strange to you, or away from you. That among these are, not all of them, just among them, are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. God gave you your life on earth, not government, and gave you freedom to dwell on earth as a free human being, and gave you the opportunity to pursue happiness anyway in your life you like, and much, much, much more. And to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's right. The governments derive their powers from consent of us for the purpose of securing our rights, securing our freedoms. Again, among these rights and freedoms are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Okay? And they recognize that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is a right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute or create new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. That is our choice. That is our power. That is our right. Okay? So with that foundation, they, on the Articles of Confederation, they organized a loose confederacy amongst these 13 new states. Okay? And they operated on that for many years until in 1789, the U.S. Constitution was proposed and ratified by 1791 by all the states. And here's an important part of that, the preamble, the introduction of the U.S. Constitution. What does it say? Okay, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, a union among these countries, among the states, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That's our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren for generations. That's what posterity is. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. This is the Constitution for the government of the United States of America, the federal government. This document does not grant you any powers whatsoever. Okay? Does not give you any rights. None. You have zero constitutional rights. But you have all the rights that our Creator gave to every one of us, every one of you, to live free. And the government is only here to secure your rights and liberties. Remember, that is the foundation of America's laws. The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and then we go further on, okay, and come to the Bill of Rights, the so-called Bill of Rights, okay? But it's really not a Bill of Rights, it's a misnomer they gave it, but it actually, is the restrictions on government's power. And again, the preamble or introduction to the Bill of Rights is also very helpful to understand the context of this, okay? They said that the conventions of a number of the states are countries. Remember, America is not one country. We are 50 countries in a union, plus the agent country of the United States, which is headquartered in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, as an agent of these 50 countries, now used to be 13, to provide for common defense of these countries from England taking us back and other common needs of the countries, states, like common money, common immigration rules, common foreign relations, and so forth. Those are the 18 areas that were given to this agent government. And the Bill of Rights was written with this idea. And it said that the convention of these states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction, which means misunderstanding or abuse of its powers, abuse of the powers that are given to this new federal government, in order to prevent that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. That's right. Further declaring and restricting clauses or language should be added. So all it is further restricting, further declaring these restrictions on the federal government's powers. That's what the Bill of Rights is. It is not a list of your rights. Again, your rights come from a creator. You were born with them. And America is the only place on earth where that's the case. The foundational law of that country or land recognizes that your rights do not come from the government, the king, the military ruler, the dictator, or anybody else. It comes from no human being or form of government. Your rights in America are recognized to come from your creator. That's right. And that's what made America so special amongst the whole world. That's why this union of 13 countries, which had only 2.5 million people in 13 states, back at the time of the revolution now, with over 300 million people, is now the third most populous country on earth, but has been since 1900, has been the most powerful and prosperous country on earth. That's right. Even as far as late 1800s, America was actually bigger economically than England or France. So, and the Bill of Rights mentions 10 specific things in it. They call amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Most of you know about the First Amendment, that Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press. You can publish whatever you want to do, or say what you want to say, or rather the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And that's exactly what we do at Freedom Law School. You and I speak, I share information with you, we publish material on our website, on our videos, we assemble together online and offline together. For what purpose? To write to our representatives in government and ask them, petition them, to clean up corruption in government and have a government be again that represents the interests of we the people as outlined in the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. So now we go to other rights, like many rights are listed in there. The Constitution, as you guys know, the right to bear arms, jury trial, and so forth and so on. But after listing all those specific rights to make sure they're listed, they are mentioned specifically, the Ninth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution was added, saying what? The enumeration or specific listing in the Constitution of certain rights, like they did from First to Eighth Amendment, shall not be construed or interpreted to deny or disparage other rights retained by the people. We the people retain all other rights that God gave us. So don't you read it as if something's not mentioned that we don't have that right. Yes, we do. The Ninth Amendment is that catch-all amendment for all the other God-given rights that our Creator gave to every one of us. And the 10th Amendment also is important, that the powers not delegated to the United States by the states. Remember, the federal government is the government of limited powers. Here's God, created we the people. We created the states, and the states created the United States of federal government. The public school system, the schools, teach you the ass backwards. They tell you the federal government is supreme. No, they're only supreme in those limited areas that the states delegated to their agents in Washington, D.C., called the federal government, to perform on behalf of the states, like common defense, common foreign relations, and so forth. So any power that the states have not delegated to the federal government, like I mentioned, to perform for the states, okay, as outlined in the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Whether it belongs to states or people, that could be subject to discussion. But bottom line is, the federal government has only those 18 specific limited powers the founding fathers gave it, and no more. That's why the corona hoax lockdowns were done country by country, state by state. France, Germany, Italy had their own lockdowns separately in their own way. Same thing with California, Florida, and Texas. California had really tough slavery lockdowns. Texas had some. Florida had very little bit, then got rid of it pretty quickly too. Okay? Different countries, different rules for each state. Okay? So this is the thing that we forgot about. And if we understand this, if you understand that this is the foundation that it left for America that's so special, we would not be so willy-nilly about it. We would not be so afraid and act like a bunch of sheeple. Do you know in Germany, France, England, and Canada, you have no right to free speech? That's right. They'd accuse you of being a hater for something you post online, show up to your door, put you in jail. You can question all the narratives about World War II history, about what happened there or not. Just express an opinion that in any way casts a doubt about what is the official story. Oh, go to prison. Freedom of speech does not exist in most of Western Europe, especially three main bastions of freedom. We got our immigrants and our history of freedom from Germany, France, and England, all becoming totalitarian places. We have not even freedom of speech. You have no right to bear arms either, by the way, in those places. Okay? America, you have all of these wonderful God-given rights that not just most of the world doesn't have, even Western Europe doesn't have. So what we have to do as Americans, and I try to do, as an immigrant to America, as a naturalized American citizen, the best thanks you can give is not to have some turkey with your relatives, okay, and relax and have fun. That's not the way to give thanks. That is just a way to get your attention away from a real thanks you got to give to America's founding fathers, their generation, their price they paid with their blood and their lives, their fortune, their sacred honor to secure your freedoms. Most of it you still have, and you don't have it because we stopped exercising those rights. That's the problem. So we exercise them at Freedom Law School. What you want to do is go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and work together to restore our freedoms. That is what we are fighting for. Fight for freedom. drain the Washington, D.C. swamp and restore freedom. And our 7 steps are here to do that. Okay? So here we are, folks. That's why we follow the U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, our laws. We found out that we've been lied to, and no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes. I've been filing and paid for over 30 years. IRS knows me. I've been under criminal investigation back then in 94 before Freedom Law School, and now for over 30 years. And I've never been to prison for not having filed and paid any federal income or paid all taxes. Okay? Why? Because when I realized there was no law requiring the people of the 50 states to file and pay federal income taxes, I thought, then why am I paying these guys money? Why do I pay the Republicans or Republicrats, the Union Party? That's what they are. The mainstream Democrats and Republicans, they're all the same. They're bought by money. Banks, big banks, corporations, pharmaceuticals, oil companies, insurance companies, Zionists, any special powerful money group. They just buy these politicians off with money, money, money. So they can advertise, say, I'm a good guy, vote for me. The other guy's a bad guy. Right? That's how the system has become corrupted. And unfortunately, the average voter is ignorant. The average voter is too busy trying to make a living, survive, pay the bills, fix the car that just broke down, okay, pay off the credit card debts, and can't deal with all the everyday life to see what's going on with the public servants out there. They're struggling to understand how they're being abused, deceived, raped, and enslaved through the government of their own that was created to secure their freedoms. That's why I said, I'm not going to pay these guys. I voted libertarian all the time. Well, that didn't seem to work that much. So guess what I did? I started voting with this, with my pocketbook. Yep. Why should I give a stack of these bills to my own enemies? Why? If I don't have to. No law requires me to, so I won't. Should you? Well, it's up to you. Here's more stack. You want to waste this stuff? Give it to your enemies? Is that what you want to do? Where does this belong? You work for it. This is your hard-earned money. You voluntarily give it to your enemies. Why? You don't have to. Okay? It's very simple. Stop confessing that you owe the IRS money because you don't. Okay? They deceive you to sign a 1040 form under oath that you owe the IRS money under oath, and they hang you with your own 1040 form under oath that you don't even understand what the heck it was your accountant or a CPA tax attorney filled out for you. Okay? You sign under oath that you owe the IRS money. And that's they give them the power to rape you in all these different ways. Okay? And then, people, you got to recognize the IRS is a huge bluff when you don't file. The Wizard of Oz is the IRS and the mainstream media pretending they're powerful when they're actually very weak. Because if they're a successful job all your life of pushing a button in your brain, they control your mind. There's a battle been going on for your mind. Have you live in fear, afraid? Yep. When they convince you to be afraid of the IRS, the government, they got you. They don't need guns. They convince you. They push a fear button, panic, anxiety, relaxation, adoration of government. They tell you over and over, pay your taxes early, all that stuff. And you are a obedient slave voluntarily. So that's the next thing I recognize. If you want to give true thanks to America's founding fathers this Thanksgiving, is recognize what you got to do your part to be free. And then the rest, folks, is just down the road, downhill. You can take courage from our victories. Iris is actually a weak lizard, not a Godzilla they pretend to be. None of our students ever gone to prison or lost any money to the IRS if they came to me clean and stayed with Freedom Law School. And we've written to the congressman about it. Yep, the authorities about income tax. Show me the law. Show me the law that requires you to file income tax. Our petitions are backed up with the law from U.S. government's own official legal websites, and not once can they show us that we've been wrong. We've done this for thousands and thousands of times. You can do the same. The petitions are available for free on our website at Step 5. Ask your lawmakers, question the authority, and you will not go to prison. You're going to be free. And if you choose, folks, I invite you, like America's founding fathers, they joined hands together, and look what they accomplished. And guess what? We can do the same. Join the modern day Restore Freedom plan. Stop paying the money to Washington, D.C. swap, and keep 100% of your money with a guarantee. You're going to be safe and just fine. By the way, if you're an employee, don't worry. On our website, on the right, there's a link in there on Free Yourself from income tax withholding. Yep, there's a page specifically to stop your employee from stealing your money up front to your employer, where that forces you to file to get some of that money back. No, stop the income tax withholding. 100% from your employer. There's videos on this page, specific instruction forms. It's all there for you to be free. And if you go to freedomlawschool.tv, we have here further educational material. Slave Nation documentary we have here. Okay, we have a couple other documentaries here. You go below. We have, where is the class on U.S. Constitution, guys? Got to go up. Here it is on the top right. Oh, here we go. FLS courses, Freedom Law School courses. You click on that on the top right. Here we go. Of course, our first two courses are called A Practical Road to Freedom from Oppressive Taxation Control Level 1, Level 2, audio and paperwork. You can download for free. And have a class on U.S. Constitution and income tax. This is a 3-part video, 8-hour, just under 8-hour class, all for free. They used to be up for sale in 90s and around 2000 years. Now they're for free. The only thing that keeps you from this knowledge is you making the time to just download them or listen to them as you drive to and from work or errands or working out, whatever you do. Just listen to them, watch them during lunch, breakfast, during to verify with the paperwork that may be in there, and let's celebrate freedom. Let's give thanks to America's founding fathers by educating ourselves to be free men and women. And where does that start? With each of us educating ourselves. So I invite you, like this great man, educate yourself. Know like them your God-given rights you were born with to be free. Once you know that, and you know the basics of the U.S. Constitution and the laws, and how to scam you to deceive you to pay income tax you never owed, now you're ready to truly be free and free men individually and work together to have America be restored to freedom. Because there's a famous saying, people are freed in masses, but are freed one by one. Unfortunately, there's a sad history of humanity. That's how it works. Each of you has a chance right now to free yourself. I provide you the means, the tools, the education, but you, and I mean you, got to make the decision. Commitment to be free by making it priorities in your car when you go place to place. Play the audio of Freedom Law School's website, our 7 steps to be free of the IRS. Yes, listen to those 7 steps in your car And as you eat, review them. Only you can make that decision. And when enough of you do that, and share that with other people, other freedom-minded people, now we can start telling that to other people, to other Americans, and make the exception to rule. And have America be a free country once again. Because that is what happened in America with Paul Revere. He went across America, told them, the British are coming, the British are coming. And Freedom Law School and each of you is saying, the swamp is here. The government has become our enemy. Let's get our country back. Let's get our freedom back. Exercise your rights. Share this information with your family members, your friends, co-workers, everybody you know out there online. Let's educate Americans with the truth of the law and have America, American families, American people also be amassed, be free as a whole. So with that, I want to give you my love and hope for each of you to choose truth, love, and freedom. Don't let ignorance, fear, and slavery be your way. No. Truth, love, and freedom, it's a choice I invite every one of you to make right now. Thank you.